Hello and welcome to Knit Tea Live. Yes, it's been a while. It's been a minute. I gotta say it's a little strange. Knit Tea Live. I was doing weekly, and then I was doing like bi-monthly, and now I'm doing just monthly. It's like, wow, it's been a long time. But welcome to Knit Tea Live. I'm so glad that you could join me today. If you are watching live, if you are watching on the replay, thank you so much for taking time to take part at whatever time you're watching this. And if you are watching the replay, you can still take part in the conversation by commenting down below. And also, before I forget, because I usually remember halfway through, do the YouTubey things. Like, share. Did I mention like? Yeah, hit that thumbs up, like the video. Make sure that you're subscribed, because sometimes you think you're subscribed to a channel and you're not. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Hitting the notification bell lets you know that you will get a notification whenever I start a new live stream or upload. Yada, yada, yada. Got all the plugs out of the way for that. Yes. Also, quick plug, I gotta remember to do this, FTC regulation. Down in the description box, you will find my list of affiliate links. If you click on affiliate link, it takes you to a place where you can do some shopping, and if you make a purchase, I might then earn a small commission, and this helps support my channel, so I can do things like Knit Tea Live. Yes. Okay, got all the plugs out of the way. Right at the top. Really glad I remembered to do that. Just gonna wait and see the next couple minutes if anybody else pops in. Hello, James. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, UF. In the chat, if you are here, let me know where you are coming from and what you're working on, or one or both or neither pieces of information if you would like. Today's live stream, I will be showing you what I am working on. I have a finished object, and by finished, I mean like I actually wove in the ends. Like, I still had to wash it because I was weaving in the ends literally like 2 hours before the live stream, but I got the ends woven in. But yes, so I have to share with you a finished object. I'm going to share with you today I have 2 WIPs going on, so I'm going to share that with you. I have squishy mail. I have not just squishy mail, I have a couple new books I'm going to show you. So we got a lot of things to look at. Some of them even hopefully pretty things with pretty string. Then I have a life update, a little bit of a life update for all of y'all. Had my first brush with needing to get a COVID test, so I'll tell you all about that. And what else? I have a list. I wrote down a list today. Oh, and of course pattern spotlight, but also going to talk to you about a rather popular cast on that I'm no longer going to be referring to by its rather cringy name. So we're going to talk just a squidge about that. Just a squidge about that, and how it all came about, and you know what cast on I'm talking about. Any guesses? Any guesses? What is the cast on we're going to talk about that has the cringy name? If you have a guess, let me know in the comments and or right now live in the chat. Let's see. What is James up to? James is, I'm redoing the toes on a couple of socks right now. Not very exciting, but I'm getting there. Hey, well, if it's cuff down sock, you're very close to being finished. That's always exciting. I think anytime we're getting to work on making something pretty, it's exciting, but I'm a very enthusiastic person. All right, let me know what you're interested in seeing first. If you're interested in the WIPS and FOBS, or if you're interested first in the squishy mail, let me know in the chat, and I'm going to give you my little bit of a life update. So, if you've been following my channel for any amount of time, you know that I have flood in October. If you follow my social media, you know that the home renovation has begun. It has begun. Yes, the home renovation has started. So it's been a little crazy in the house, and it's our contractor, who we love, the contractor that we hired, and this sounds so away, but yes, we have a designer because, like, not only do we want this done well, we also want it to be structurally sound. So we're like, we need help. And it's the same people who helped us remodel our kitchen and family room when we first bought the house. So it's the exact same people doing this side of the house now on our bedroom side. And, you know, we're actually friends now. And let me just tell you, when you find a contractor that you really like and you work with these people and they're practically living in your home a good portion of the day, sometimes you start feeling a bit of a bond with them. So we're starting with the master bedroom and bathroom, which means that my master has been gutted because we're moving a wall and we ended up raising the ceiling, and we are right now, our house, we are living in my daughter's room. That's where we managed to fit our king size bed into my daughter's room. So we're all sleeping in my daughter's room, and we have one working bathroom right now. Thankfully, we're only a family of 3, but even with a family of 3, one working bathroom, one working toilet. Let's just say sometimes there's a line for the loo in my house. But things are going along. They're moving along. And the thing that happened, however, was not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, so like a week and a half ago, our designer Adrian needed to come through to talk with the contractor about like lighting, because we're putting in some recessed lights, and just to do a walkthrough to check on work, and also to look at floor samples and countertop samples for our bathroom vanity. There's so many decisions you make when you're doing a remodel. Anyway, and everybody involved, we're all vaxxed, we're all boosted, everybody was masking. Like, our contractor comes in, he is wearing an N95 mask all the time. I mean, he would be anyway with the work that he's doing, with the demolition and everything, but we always keep a good, in fact, social distance apart. Like, we're always at least 3 or 4 feet away from each other. Normally, in fact, we're talking either side of a piece of plastic that separates, like, where we're sleeping from where the work is going on, so... But last Friday, our designer came through, we did this big walkthrough, and on Friday we got an email that our contractor tested positive for COVID. He's fine. He was mostly asymptomatic, it sounds like, but that meant we all needed to get tested. So that was kind of stressful, and it was the first time that I've actually had to get tested. My husband has gotten tested many times. He works on film set, so every time he gets a job, he's testing like constantly. But I hadn't needed to get tested up until now. So thankfully, we live in an area where there's still like county testing going on, and we were able to just go to the county testing site that was 10 minutes from us, walk up, register, and do the test. And we're all negative. But it was stressful. It was definitely a stressful weekend because we did the PCR test on Friday. We had to wait till Saturday to get the results. And right when all this was happening, the Santa Ana winds started blowing in our area. Whenever that happens, that tends to trigger allergies for me and my husband. So it was like, is this allergies or is this COVID? I think it's just allergies. Took an allergy pill. I feel okay now. Probably just allergies, but and then we tested again on Monday, but we were all negative. Thank goodness. Our contractor and all his family is negative. So our designer, she tested negative. So we're all good now, and the work has restarted at the house. So that's my life update in terms of the house. And through all of this, I am very grateful. I am very grateful that I have had my crafting to lean into, and I have been working quite a bit with the fibers through all of this. So that's the life update. And let's see, James has a guess. I'm going to let that one simmer for a little bit. Okay, so I have been crafting up a storm through what has been a eventful time in my life, and I have my finished object to show you. So I'm actually going to put it on because they are fingerless gloves. This is sort of like one of the 2020 was last year, 2021? Yes. Last year was 20. Oh, let me timestamp. I'm trying to remember to write down timestamps as I do this, so it's a little easier for me to do that later. Because if you're watching on replay, I do put timestamps down in the description box. 0, 0, 0. We'll just do that. Okay, so who's ready for some finished objects? I think we're all ready for it. Here we go. So 2021 was sort of my year of fingerless mitts. And this was like the last fingerless mitt project that I was working on last year. I was working on this as part of the 2021 Fasten Off Yarn Along, which is the off-Rav kind of equivalent to the Ravelry Gift Along event that goes on. And I got this pattern and I worked it, and here it is. This is the finished object. Aren't these gorgeous? I love this. I love this. Oh, let's see. Can I bring it so you can see the detail? I tried to get my overhead camera working before the live stream, but it wasn't working. But these are the Cozy Cottage fingerless mitts by Dana Ray Makes. And I will leave a link for her website down in the description box. I really love the finished project. As you can see, it's a very long fingerless glove. Down sort of the third of it here, I don't know if you can really see it all that well, but it has this garter stitch little detail panel that goes up, and either side of the garter stitch little panel there are slip stitches. So it's a very straightforward knit. There's no thumb gusset that's built into this. You just get to the point where you have your thumb hole, and then you work flat back and forth, and then you join everything back in the round when you have your thumb hole. And it has this garter stitch border here at the fingers and at the cuff down here. So really pretty. I love the yarn. Shoot, I forgot to bring my ball band, but this yarn was actually a hand-dyed yarn. I will find the ball band. I will put that information into the description box later. But this is actually a hand-dyed yarn that I won during the 2020 Fasten Off Yarn Along. So yes, this is my finished object. I really did enjoy working the project mostly. Oh God, this is so tricky because I never want to, independent designers, it's a tough business to be in, a independent knitwear and crochet designer. When you're doing it independently, there's a lot of cost in terms of getting tech editors. Anyway, there's not necessarily a lot of return on investment. So I always want to promote independent designers, but I always feel like I need to be honest with all y'all. And I really enjoy this design, but the pattern itself, let me just say that I'm waiting for an update because there were some rather significant errors in the pattern. I emailed the designer about them. Her response was lovely. It was exactly what you would hope for a response to be from a designer. So I have no criticism of the designer. Mistakes happen in patterns. It's just these were the mistakes that were in this pattern to me, they were a little bit beyond the usual level of errors and typos that you find. But she said that she's updating the pattern, so when I find out that the updated pattern is available, I'll give you all the information on this project. Because I really like the project, I really like the designer, but, you know, I gotta kind of be honest at the same time. So yeah, that's the finished object. Let me see, there, you can kind of see a little bit more what I'm talking about with that garter stitch panel. Right there. Okay. So, in terms of FOBS, that's my FOB. In terms of WIPS, I have two WIPS, two projects that I'm working on right now. Oops, that one there. Very excited to show this one. The first one is actually a Tunisian crochet project. There's a theme here coming. You'll find out what it is in a second. But this is the beginnings of a Tunisian crochet beret hat. So I've gotten the top done and I'm starting to work the decreases for the brim. So right now it kind of just looks like a flat medallion. But this is a Tunisian crochet hat and it mostly uses what's called full stitch. And in full stitch with Tunisian crochet, you actually work your new stitches in between the vertical bars. And I really love the look of this. I'll see. Oh, there we go. There we go. You can see the stitch pattern better there. This is the Dre hat by Aklori Designs. And I will leave a link for this project, again, in the description box afterwards. Let me just write that down, Dre hat link. And this, the reason I say there's a theme is this project is actually a pattern that I won in the 2020 Fast Enough Yarn-A-Log that I finally got around to working. And it's worked in the round, so it uses a double-ended crochet hook. So there's a hook on either end. And I gotta say, working in the round with Tunisian crochet is really fun. It's really fun. It has a beautiful rhythm to it. And what you do is you actually, when you work in the round with a double-ended crochet hook like this in Tunisian crochet is, again, I wish I had my overhead camera working. Anyway, you work your stitches forward until you can't really fit any more stitches onto your hook, and then you turn the work around and you do your return pass on Tunisian crochet back up until like 3 or 4 stitches, then you turn the work back and you start working forward again. So it's really, it's fun. It's fun. It's really fun. But the one thing is you do have to work with 2 balls of yarn when you're working in the round with Tunisian crochet like this. So you definitely a little bit of yarn management going on, but this is the hat. I'm very excited about it. It's been working up pretty quickly. In fact, I probably would be done with this already if I didn't have life and another project that I'm working on at the same time. What else did I want to say about this? I think that's it. Unless anyone has any questions, but that's the Tunisian crochet project. Oh, the yarn. The yarn, I love this yarn. This yarn is Debbie Bliss Blue Face Leicester in Aran weight, and I bought this yarn years ago now, the last time I was in London. So this is like, I got like 10 balls of this yarn in this color and 10 balls in, I think it was 10 balls. It might have been more. It was on sale though. It was like clearance. And 10 balls in this dark green. And so that's from this. And every project I ever make with this yarn makes me so happy because A, the yarn is just delicious. It's if you've ever worked with BFL, it's such a great yarn. It's such a great fiber. I love BFL. But BFL is a yarn that it's not as soft as merino, but it's still really soft, and it's hardier. It's a hardier wool, and it has more luster to it than merino does. So it's just a great, great wool. And whenever I work with it, the wool is just, it has this like spongy, like quality to it that just makes me so happy. And every time I work with it, I also think of London, and I love London. So there's that. Okay, and then the last WIP I'm going to show you, this has been in the queue for a while for me to work on, and that is this, and this doesn't look like much right now, does it? The yarn looks really pretty, I hope. It should. God, that looks good. Even like, I'm like, wow, I'm looking at it on my computer screen. I'm like, man, that looks so pretty. But this is the Clapidus. If you recall, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I had planned to do a Clapidus scarf. Clapidus, if you don't know, is kind of a famous pattern. It was very popular in the early 2000s. There was a period of time where if you were a knitter, you would knit this project. This was like, you know, Find Your Fade is like that pattern that everybody works, or Baba. You know, there's always these patterns that get like, that just catch the community by wildfire and everybody has to make it. And that was Clapidus in the early 2000s. You can still get it. It's a free pattern on nitty.com. You can still get it. And it was specifically designed for variegated yarns. So it works really well with variegated yarns. The yarn I'm using is called Synchronized by Jojo Land, and it has long color repeats in it that fade beautifully into one another, and I am loving this yarn. It's 100% wool superwash. It's very soft. And it just, I'm loving watching how the colors develop into one another with this project. But the thing that you don't know yet is with the Clapidus, you see all these little threads here? These are marking out repeats within the pattern, and there is a stitch that pretty soon, I'm almost done with this, the vertical repeat. Pretty soon, I'm gonna start purposely dropping a stitch right here, wherever there's a marker, wherever you see that little bit of white string, I'm going to be purposely dropping a stitch down and laddering it down, because this is a project where you purposely put in ladders. So right now it just looks like a plain bit of like triangular stockinette, right? Just that's whatever, but no, it's going to transform. It's going to totally transform once you start dropping the stitch. I cannot wait. Cannot wait to drop my first stitch. So yeah, but I love this yarn. I love this yarn. I'm loving this yarn so much. So yeah, that's everything that I have been working on lately. So let's see. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Oh, let's see. Right now, James has a guess. I've heard some talk about the Chinese waitress cast on. I don't know, so I don't knit. I don't knit, so I don't know many cast-ons. Well, James, you are correct. That is the cast-on with the cringy name. And so let's just talk about it right now. But I'm gonna do a time. I'm gonna just mark my timestamp real quick. 47. So yeah, that name. So I first learned about this cast on I've heard, if you've watched my videos, you know what I'm about to say. I learned about this cast on in the book Cast On, Bind Off, 211 Ways to Begin and End Your Knitting by Kat Cease. I do love this knitting book. I love this knitting book. It's one of my favorite reference books. I use it all the time, and it is this book where most people have first learned about this cast on. And the story behind it is that Kat Cease says that she was shown this cast on by a friend who was in Beijing, and she learned this cast on from a waitress in China, and thus the name being the Chinese waitress cast on. But personally, it always has kind of, I've never loved that name. It's always made me uncomfortable for reasons I couldn't even quite articulate. And yet I would use it mostly because, well, that's what people know it by, and you want people to know what you're referencing. And so, and this is something I feel like that happens a lot in craft world, where something gets a name, even if it's kind of cringy and inappropriate, but everyone still calls it that. And so you just go along despite any like discomfort you might have. Which is kind of a privileged thing to do, honestly. But last week, Lane Magazine put up a post on Instagram and discussing this cast on and apologizing because they used this name in a book that's no longer in print, and just said, you know what, we're not going to use this name for this cast on anymore. We're going to utilize either double crochet cast on or crochet twist cast on. And it got me thinking about my own sort of place, where I want to be, what I feel more comfortable with. And I myself was like, you know what? I need to stop using this name as well. And now I know another reference to it that I can utilize. So from now on, I'm not going to be using the cringy name. I'm going to be referring to it as double crochet cast on, aka the cast on with the formerly cringy name. And move on from there. But also, why is it cringy, right? And I think Lane Magazine actually did a very good job articulating it, so I'll summarize it now, which is that the reason it's cringy on many levels is, the one that really stuck out for me is that in Capsise's book, there's many cast-ons that we call by people's names, right? Judy's magic cast-on, Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast-on. We acknowledge the person who either came up with or popularized a certain cast-on technique or knitting technique or crochet technique. And yet, for this situation, we're not. We are, what's the, fudge, I'm forgetting the word. Reducing, it's reductive, right? We're only referring to the person who taught Capsise's friends this cast on. She's being labeled by her, you know, ethnicity and her job, and her name is lost to time. And that's kind of not cool, you know? It's not cool that that information is lost and that person is really not getting credited. Now, I don't know if she invented the cast on or somebody else taught her that cast on. We don't know enough of the history and the origins of that cast on. But it is reductive. That name that's in Capsise's book is reductive, and we can do better. And if we can do better, then we should do better. So, you know, I'm going to be referring it, like I said, it's double crochet cast on, and I have to sort of feel the need to apologize myself for continuing to perpetuate that kind of cringy name for a cast on, simply because, well, for not necessarily great reasons. So, and take ownership of kind of my own sort of fault there. And yeah, so that's where that's at. I don't know how anyone else feels about it. I'm totally open to conversation and opinion. I understand that not everybody may feel the same way I do about it, but this is like the path that I'm choosing to take with it. So yeah, that is sort of all I really wanted to say about it, but I did want to sort of acknowledge it because it, you know, I have past videos where I refer to this cast on, and I can't go back and edit those videos and put them back up on YouTube, at least not easily. Where I have them, I want to try to just put a comment in about it. But yeah, moving forward, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently in terms of that. So yeah. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Other perspectives, whether you agree, whether you disagree, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on replay. And, you know, because, yeah, it can always be a conversation, a civil conversation, you know, a civil one. Okay, who's ready for some fun? I'm ready for some fun. I'm ready to show you some of the fun things I've gotten recently in the mail. So, I have 2 books I'm going to show you, and then we're going to open some squishy mail together. Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to do that on camera. I'm getting a little bit of post-nasal drip. It's allergies. It's just allergies. Let's see. $29.09. Squishy mail. Okay. So, first, okay, what do you want to see first? Books, squishy mail? Do you have a preference? Let me know in the chat if you have a preference, what you want to see first. It's so quiet today in the chat. I can start that. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Sorry, I'm just realizing something was streaming there. Okay, I have the books next to me, so we're going to go with the books. All right, so first book I'm going to show that I got is Tunisian Crochet Workshop. Yes, no, I don't. This is the first book I've gotten about Tunisian crochet. I've just really been enjoying Tunisian crochet this past year, and I felt like it's time that I had a book, a good reference book about it. I don't know yet if this is like a good one or not. It was well reviewed on Amazon. I flipped through it, and there's quite a few things that I do like about it already. One thing I really dig about it actually is, let me see if I can find the page. It actually has like some information on like doing color work, and let me see if I can find it, which I think is just the basics, reading. I can't find it, of course. Now I can't find it because I didn't bookmark it. But it has the basic information. Oh, here it is. Choosing colors. It has a color wheel. This book has a color wheel in it, done in yarn. But it also talks about doing different types. Oh, focus. There we go. It talks about doing different color selections based on the color wheel. How to do a monochromatic look, how to do analogous, what that means, complementary, split complementary. So it gives some basics on different approaches of choosing colors based on color wheel, which I think is really cool. I think that's something for a general reference book, I can't recall ever seeing that before. And I think it's just really great that that information is in the book. I was immediately like, wow. And I mean, I know about some of this stuff. I don't have it near me. It's probably out in the living room with where most of my craft stuff is right now. But I actually have a physical color wheel where you can choose one color and then choose other colors based on it, based on various lines. You can choose like a triad or a square, and it shows you basically how to choose colors that work together based on different ideas, like complementary or doing a split complementary. If you're wondering, what is a split complementary, Carrie? Well, a split complementary, you start with a base color, then choose two colors adjacent to its complement. So you would go, let's say you choose red, the complement is green, so you would use blue and purple. So you would have a color scheme, or no, I'm sorry, blue and yellow. So you would use a color scheme that is red, blue, and yellow, and that's a split complementary. So yes, James, I will leave a link for this down in the description box after it's done. One day I'm going to remember to do my links before I start live streaming. One day. But yes, it's Tunisian Crochet Workshop by Michelle Robinson. And yeah, I'm going through that. But yeah, it also covers the basics of just how to do a gauge swatch, how to Tunisian crochet, color work. So it has some projects in them as well. It has some projects, like it has this pillow project that I'm actually kind of interested in doing. Because I've never done a lot of homeware. It has a project, is it? Here, it has this giant poof project. There we go. Right there. So it has projects in it. So it's not like just a general reference book. Because usually like general reference books, which by the way, I have an upcoming review on that, won't necessarily have like patterns in it, but this has patterns. And yeah, I just feel like this is probably a good book for someone who's starting out on Tunisian crochet and who likes books, to learn from books. I know that feels like it's becoming a unpopular thing in the crafting community. Just a couple of weeks ago, I saw someone, and I see this comment again, someone saying like, oh, don't bother buying books. You can get everything free on the internet. And I'm always like, so much I want to unpack with that. So much. Maybe that's going to be next month's live stream, because I have some feelings about when I see that comment, but be that as it may, I still like having my library of craft books, because frankly, sometimes it is faster for me to grab a book and find the information I want than it is for me to fumble around on the internet trying to find a reliable source for the information that I want. Yes, UF, I agree. James, let's see. Well, let me go in order. I don't Tunisian crochet a whole ton, so it hasn't grabbed my attention previously, but it looks super cool. It is. I personally, I can crochet. And I haven't done a ton of crochet. I have done crochet projects. I go through like right when my daughter was being born, I went through a whole crochet toy, you know, rip. Like I was just making all these crochet toys for her. Um, so I crochet, but I'll be honest, I don't enjoy it as much as knitting. And there's something about Tunisian crochet, the speed of it, the rhythm of it, that just hits my fiber loving button in a way that's similar to knitting. And I really enjoy it. The fabric with Tunisian crochet can be very thick um, compared to crochet, regular crochet, or knitting, but it doesn't have to be depending on the size of the crochet hook you use relative to the size of yarn you use. And there's a lot of like pretty like lace type things that you can do with Tunisian crochet, but it's fun. If you don't know what Tunisian crochet is, if you're watching right now going, Carrie, what the heck is Tunisian crochet? Tunisian crochet is a hybrid, basically. It's like a hybrid of knitting and crochet. And what you do in it is, in Tunisian crochet, you use generally a longer hook, right, than you do with regular crochet. But, you know, in crochet, you do a chain, and there's just one, usually, loop of yarn on your crochet hook. In Tunisian crochet, you pull up a series of loops onto your crochet hook that's similar to what you do in knitting, right? Where you have a continuous line of loops along your knitting needle. Same kind of idea in Tunisian crochet. But in Tunisian crochet, after you do your row of loops that are all on your crochet hook, you then do what's called a return pass, which is basically a series of slip stitches that you bring through to suspend your stitches onto. So the stitches in Tunisian crochet basically get suspended on a slip chain. So each row of Tunisian crochet has a forward pass where you draw up loops of yarn on your crochet hook, and then a return pass where you create a slip stitch chain that catches those loops of yarn and secures them. So that's what Tunisian crochet is. And Tunisian crochet, you can do stitches that look like knit stitches. So there is a Tunisian knit stitch, but it's fun. It's just a very fun crochet technique that I enjoy quite often. So yeah, that's what Tunisian crochet hook, if you don't know. And it's fast. Tunisian crochet is fast. If you are someone who likes to get through a project quickly, Tunisian crochet generally works up faster than either knitting or regular crochet does. The downside to Tunisian crochet is there aren't as many designers out there. I will leave a list of designers who do Tunisian crochet in the description box after this, but there aren't as many designers who work in Tunisian crochet, and getting kind of the needles, or not needles, they're hooks, but getting like hooks sometimes with Tunisian crochet can be a little tricky. Like trying to find this double-ended Tunisian crochet hook, the pattern actually calls for a 6.5 millimeter double-ended Tunisian crochet hook, and I could not find one. I'm making this with the 6 millimeter Tunisian crochet hook. So sometimes, because it's not as well known of a craft, getting the tools for it can sometimes be a little tricky. Anyway, the other book that I got that I'm very excited about is The Knitter's Book of Yarn by Clara Parks. This, I cannot wait to open up and start looking through it. I just, if you don't know, well, was it last year or the year before? I did a video a while back. Me trying to do drop spindle, make yarn for the first time. And I have recently signed up because I feel like this year I want to get more serious about learning how to spin yarn. And if for no other reason, I feel like understanding how yarn is made will help me make better, more, knowledgeable decisions about pairing yarn with projects. I mean, I think I do a pretty good job. But I always feel like this is an area in my fiber making world that I'm not as knowledgeable about. James. Oh, I love that book. Should be required reading for all yarn artists. Yes. And I almost feel like I have been remiss in not getting this book sooner. So, oh, and it has 40 patterns. I didn't even realize there's 40 patterns in here. So I'm very excited to delve deeper into my yarn knowledge, better understanding, fiber, twist, all that good stuff. So yes, oh God, it's a hardcover book too. So it has some nice weight to it. I really like that. I can't wait. Years ago, back when Craftsy was like good, like the original Craftsy, I did take a video course with Clara Parks talking about fiber, and a lot of my fiber knowledge is actually based in that class. By the way, can we just take a moment of silence for Craftsy? Because like, it is like a ghost of what it used to be. I mean, is that taps I hear in the background? It might be. It might be. Oh, good to know. James is also letting me know that Yarn Texture by Jillian Moreno is great also specifically for the spinning side of it. Yes. Yeah, so what I signed up for the spinning class actually is from Abby's Yarns. If you don't know who Abby is, Abby Frankmont, she is a spinning teacher. She lives in Peru, and I am only through like the first 1.5 sessions of her spinning one class, and already I'm like mind blown, mind freaking blown on the things that I've learned. Like I was like, oh my God. So if you're interested on spinning yarn, I highly recommend you check her out. But yeah, swirly sock. Oh, sock patterns. I literally opened this box 30 minutes before I started the live stream. So I haven't not started looking through this book yet, but I'm very excited to. Oh, Optic Waves shawl. I'm very interested in this project because I'm really into shawls right now. And I feel like this is if last year is my year of fingerless mitts, I feel like this is my year of shawls. I'm very interested in that project right there. So yes, I cannot wait to start going through this book. So exciting. So excited. All right. So those are the books that I've got. And it's now time for, make sure I know, Squishy Mail. Yes. Squishy Mail, Squishy Mail, Squishy Mail. So this yarn I bought actually a bit ago, and I've been waiting for this live stream to open it with you all. But I ordered the yarn. I'm actually like feeling it, and there feels something hard in here, so I don't even remember everything I bought. The main reason I bought this though is there is a project that I actually finally found a project to make for my husband. So this order was partially buying yarn for that. And it's from Lovecrafts, which is actually, I am a Lovecrafts affiliate, but this is the first time I've ordered something from Lovecrafts. But the reason is they were having a sale on their Valley yarns. If you don't know, WIPS was recently, WIPS, which is yarn.com, is a famous yarn store here in the United States. It's great. But they were recently purchased by Lovecrafts, and WIPS has a line of in-house yarn called Valley Yarns, which is fantabulous, and you can now purchase Valley Yarns through Lovecrafts. So they were having a sale on Valley Yarns, so I was like, well, gotta check that out, and bought some yarn. So we're gonna open this. The satisfying sound of opening a package with squishy mail inside. Although I'm gonna fold that down because it's sticky and I don't want the yarn to get stuck. So, okay. God, I don't even remember everything I bought. Did I buy crochet thread? Let's see. Got a little catalog. That's probably gonna go in the recycling bin. Sorry. I gotta remember to like blank out my address when I bring squishy mail on. Okay, so I got Lana Grossa Capri, and then I got Valley Yarns Huntington, which is, that's the yarn that I got to do the project for my husband. And I'm not, oh, okay. So, let's open it up. I didn't know this. Lovecrafts, when they send you your yarn, they send it in a little, like, bag. So that can be like a little project bag, right? That's specific. All right, so I, I don't know why I bought this. I feel like I bought this for a reason, and now I can't remember what the heck it was, but I got this yarn. This is Lana Gross Capri. This is in the color, where's the color? This is a 55% cotton, 30% polyamide, 15 or 30% polyamide, 15% silk. It's really pretty. It's a really pretty yarn. It has this really interesting, I don't think you can see it very well here on camera. I'll try and remember to take a picture and put a photo up. But it has, it's almost like it almost looks like a wire, like a really flexible wire, but wire. But yeah, it's really pretty. I just don't know why I bought it. I know I must have bought it for a reason, besides just that it was really pretty and I was interested in it and it was on sale. And I got this color, this purple, which is really pretty. I love the color. I just can't for the life of me remember why I bought this. I don't know. It's really pretty, but I bought quite a bit of it. I mean, I bought 4 things of the purple, or 3 things of the purple. And this color here, I'm not sure how it's reading. It's kind of a very soft gray with a greenish undertone in it, and I love it. I love the color. Where's the color name? Do you not? I don't like it when I can't find the name, the color name on the ball band. That always annoys me. But I bought like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 balls of this. I feel like I bought this amount for a project, but I can't remember what project I bought it for. I don't remember. But the other yarn I got was this Valley yarn. This is a this is 100. This is a superwash merino wool nylon. This is a sock yarn, but I will not be using this for sock. This is going to be for a Fair Isle project that I'm going to make. It's going to be for a hat. And oh God, don't those look pretty together? Yeah, yeah. So the pattern I'm going to make is it's a hat for my husband that it's going to be Fair Isle and it has cameras on it because he's a camera guy. And so yeah, those are the colors I'm going to use. And oh, not a lot of smell, but it's so pretty, isn't it? It's so pretty, so pretty. And it's so soft and delicious. Like, I don't like using merino yarn. I don't like using merino for socks. It's not a sturdy enough fiber for something as hard wearing as socks. But I love this for things like hats, fingerless mitts, things like that. So I'm not opposed to merino wool in a sock yarn. Just I don't like using them for socks because merino is just it's a more delicate fiber. Yes, that is a good tip, UF. That is a very good tip that I can find projects for this yarn on Lana Gross. I feel like I got this, though, for a specific project, and I just can't remember which one. Let me check my, close that. Let me check my purchased patterns folder and see if it rings a bell. No, wouldn't have been that. Wouldn't have been that. No. I don't think, no, it definitely would have been that. Don't know. Maybe I just liked the look of the yarn. I said, hey, I'll buy it. That is possible. That is totally possible. It's very possible. Yeah. Okay, so I think I did buy this on spec for whatever reason. And if so, I look forward to finding a project that it belongs with, because it's just a very interesting looking yarn. It reminds me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like elastic, like just like round string like elastic that you would, it's not, but that's what the look of it reminds me of that you would find like on a Halloween mask. That's what it reminds me of. But it's obviously it's not. I mean, it's mostly cotton and silk, although it has some nylon in it, so which is good because, you know, cotton and silk are totally inelastic yarns, fibers. So I'm so happy right now. I'm just surrounded by like balls of yarn. I'm just so happy right now. I must have just been like, that yarn looks so interesting. I have to get some. Anyway, so yeah, that's my squishy mail for this month. And oh wow, we're running out of time. We're probably gonna go a little longer than an hour today, which because A, I've been talking a lot. B, I do want to get to pattern spotlight, so let's do that next, unless anyone else has any questions or comments or anything. And 5150. Okay. And we will do pattern spotlight. Pattern spotlight. We're gonna look at new stuff that's available from the past month, because it's been a month since we live streamed and done this. Alrighty. So that's already there. I want this one. Yes, picked the right one. Okay, my website, Fiber Happenings. By the way, just so you know, after the live stream, I had to fix some links. For some reason, I have some links that are not correct. I swear I checked them all before I updated the website, but come on. Sorry, my tablet is going a little crazy. There we go. Sometimes I use a tablet for my computer, one, to protect my wrist, but two, my mouse that I had, my Bluetooth mouse that I had, like finally gave up the ghost because I dropped it too many times and I haven't gotten a new one. So I've been using my tablet and sometimes it just goes like crazy. But first off, just want to point out, yes, I am a Knit Picks affiliate, and they are still having a sale on their nickel-plated needles, and they are also having a clearance sale that I believe is still going on. So I have to check that. So first pattern, you know, do I want to? Yeah, I'll just start at the top and we'll work our way down. So the first new pattern I'm going to point out, and by the way, this is a link that I need to fix, but there are some other projects from Amy Snell on the Fiber Happenings page. So if you go down to one of the listings for her further down on the Fiber Happenings page, you can get to her website very easily. But she has a pay hip store. But she has a new pattern that she just released this week called a powder bowl. We can see the up close of it right here. And you know, I gotta say, I think this is a really fun, cool pattern. It looks like it's mostly being made with slip stitches, like, so this is color work, but I feel like this is gonna be very approachable color work. And the type of color work where you're working just one color in each row. I think. Let's read the description. As an avid skier, my absolute favorite thing is getting on the slopes. Where is it? Skills, techniques, knitting in the round, slip stitch, color work. Yes, optional casting on and knit purl with video tutorial. So yeah, this is all slip stitch color work, which is like some of my favorite color work to do because it gives stunning results, but you're not having to carry multiple strands of yarn across one row. It's just a very approachable way to do some very stunning color work that will leave people going, oh my God, you made that? and you can just know in your heart how like simple and straightforward it really is. So that is the new pattern from Amy Snell, friend of the channel and Fiber Happenings. Close that. And next up we have Romy Hill Design. There's a couple of new patterns right now in Fiber Happenings, and this is her most recent one. This is her Essential Bucket Hat. Comes in 2 sizes for adults. And yeah, I think it's just I feel like a lot of Romy Hill's designs tend to be more shawls, so it's fun to see a hat pattern from her. And here it is on her website. We can see some more photos. This is her son wearing the bucket hat. She says like that this hat her son is wearing is actually the larger version of it, but he has a lot of hair, so it looks shorter than it is, according to what she said on Instagram. But yeah, that's the bucket hat. I think it's a really cool pattern, like a nice basic looking hat. Basic as in like a really nice hat to have in your like house, not basic as in like basic insult, Gen Z talk basic. I'm probably over explaining that, and that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool hat. I like a good bucket hat. There we go. I'm kind of rushing through these a little bit because it's getting a little late. Next up, from Studio Miranda Designs, she has a Mutzi hat. Mutzi? I'm not sure if it's pronounced Mutzi or Mutzi. It's probably Mutzi. Hat and mitts. This is 2 patterns. Again, this is another slip stitch pattern projects. It's a set. Oh, shoot. Come on. Come on. Reach up to the... I gotta wait for the... There we go. So here you can see a close-up of the hat, and it looks so cool, right? Especially this one row right there of just these red stitches, but this is all being done with slip stitch. And you can see the mitts right here, the close-up of the mitts there. I think this is just a really cool, almost, it's color work, but also the way those slip stitches are done, it's almost textural, is that a word? At the same time. Really lovely. Really, really lovely. Close that. And then we have a new sock pattern from Periwinkle Dragon Designs. Always love her work. This one is really cool. The Pedestrian Scramble Socks. And this sock pattern is really cool because along the foot of the pattern, let's go to our website, we can see more photos. But along the foot of the sock, it has this ribbing that spirals across, but then when you get to the cuff, it's just, the spiraling stops. And she worked this in a multi-color stripe, rainbow stripe pattern. She said the pedestrian scramble socks are inspired by crosswalks. As someone who lives right in the heart of a city, crossing busy streets safely is a daily fact of life for me. So yeah, so that's why it's called the pedestrian scramble. But yeah, I think this is really fun. I think this is something I really appreciate about Periwinkle Dragon's designs is even when she's doing a stitch pattern that looks more straightforward, she always brings a nice kind of like interesting twist to it through just how the stitches end up moving across the work. Yeah, and I really like to, with socks specifically, she talked about this in a Twitter, let me just come here for a second. She talked about this in a tweet a few weeks ago where she was saying how, because sometimes people can get very like particular about like, no, this is the only really good heel that works for everybody or for this type of foot. And she made a really good comment. It's like, no, you can make different sock constructions work for your foot all the time. Let's not be snobby about heels and toes. Because some people I really respect feel some kind of way about certain sock constructions. And I'm like, May not be right for your foot, but that doesn't mean it's not right for someone else's foot. Okay, so that is Periwinkle Designs' new sock pattern, Carolyn Lyle. Next, this is a free pattern. This is a free pattern that you can find on the magazine, I Like Knitting magazine. This is the Kaylee Fisherman's Rib Scarf from Sarah Dawn's Design. Fisherman's Rib, if you don't know, is I would say a sibling of brioche knitting. It is basic brioche knitting and fisherman's scarf structurally are pretty much the same thing. It's just that fisherman's rib takes a different approach than brioche knitting in doing it. And so this is a free pattern that you can get on the website. And I don't want to join now. Continue to article. Thank you. You do have to deal with that. Allow. But yeah, this is like a really nice, my sister lives in Maine and they just had a big nor'easter blow through, and I look at the scarf and I'm like, yeah, my sister could use a scarf that looks that warm. But yes, I already did download this pattern. So that is from Sarah Dawn's Design. We're going to be meeting Sarah Dawn later on down in the pattern spotlight. This is not a new pattern, but from Knit, Dance, Repeat. This is a re-release. Right now in 2020, Sheila, oh my god, I'm blanking on her last name. Shoot. But Sheila of Knit, Dance, Repeat, she is updating all of her patterns that are available, and she re-released this pattern, which is called, come on, Garden Blooms. And this is a knitted flat medallion that utilizes short rows. And you can make it in two sizes for either a treve or coasters, whatever you'd like. And yeah, so that's available on her website. And then down next, Anakin Alice, Yarn Addict by Anakin Alice, has a new, well, it could be a shawl. It could be a scarf, depending on how you wear it, but it's called the Trinette. And she says of this that the project begins with a triangular construction and then transitions to a rectangle, making a versatile knit accessory. Like a lot of Anakin Alice's work, this is lace knitting, but I feel like this is like good lace knitting if you want to start dipping your toe into that knitting technique. It doesn't look like very complicated lace patterning, but it certainly looks like it gives very stunning results. Next, oh my god, there's so many patterns that I have on Fiber Happenings right now that we haven't talked about in the last month. This is again from Amy Snell, the Devious Knitter, and this is her Shattered Shale Cowl. This is another slip stitch pattern. Wow. Is 2022 going to be the year of slip stitch patterns? Because this is at least 3 patterns so far that we've seen that have involved slip stitches. Which, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't go to the bigger screen. So sorry about that. You're like, what? I can't see it, Carrie. It's just your big face. But I feel like we're seeing a lot of slip stitch patterns lately, but I am down for it. I am a fan. But so yeah. That sale, no, the sale's over. But next is Lavish Design Tulpa Hat. And this hat, let me just back up. Lavish Design is a designer that I discovered just in December through the Fasten Off Yarn Along, and I have purchased, not this pattern, I purchased another pattern from her called the Half Hap Fade Shawl. I'm so excited to work on that. Did I buy this for that? Maybe. Anyway, regardless, I'm very excited to work that pattern, but love her work. Love her work. So glad that I discovered her through the Fasten Off Yarn Along. But this hat is a companion. It looks like, to me, it looks like little tulips. This little lace design. But we'll see. We'll go to the picture so you can see a little bit more clearly, hopefully. But this is actually a companion piece to a cowl, I believe that she did. Or maybe it was a shawl. I'm trying to remember. But it's called the Tulpa the Hat. And it's just a cute little beanie with this nice little lacy motif in it. It's cute. I think it's just very cute. Oops. Ah! There we go. Gotta show up the website. Next, we have designs by Romy Charmeuse Wrap. This, oh God, this is stunning. This is really stunning, this wrap. Let me get to it really. Here, you can see the full, get more of the full effect. Can you zoom in? Let me see if I can just zoom that in so you can see it. This is it has lace details. I love the yarn. It looks just, it's like so airy and beautiful. Oh, I love the tassels at the bottom. Tassels are so fun. Like they're just really fun. So I just think this wrap is stunning. Stunning. Let's see. And what she has to say about it is it's an exploration of fiber, color, and fabric texture. Charmeuse is worked in one skein of a verb for keeping warm frond, mohair silk. Yeah, that makes sense. And one skein of floating, which is alpaca cashmere silk yarn. But with sections worked in each yarn, a center plus a center panel using both held together. The resulting diamond-shaped shawl is a dreamy blend of softness and layered synergy. So that's her description of it, and I just think it's stunning. I think that is just a stunning, stunning wrap. Okay, we're getting near the end, guys. We're getting near the end of the pattern releases. Oh, this is another link, by the way, that I gotta fix. It's linking to the wrong place for some reason. But this is Kath Andrews Designs Nevern Throw. And it is inspired by Celtic knot motifs and patterns that are found on the Great Cross of Saint, I hope I pronounced this correctly, Brynach. And this throw is like, I think it's just amazing. I'm going to just zoom in here. Oops. So you can see it more closely. But all of this is worked in Fair Isle, but flat. This is worked in flat Fair Isle, which I don't think you see all that often. So that is something that can be challenging because when you work Fair Isle flat, obviously you're going to have to work sections of purl with floats, and some people find that a little tricky. I would be very curious about trying that, utilizing Portuguese knitting. And that's where you tension the yarn around your neck. And the reason for that is when you work Portuguese knitting, or I'm sorry, when you work Fair Isle utilizing Portuguese knitting, you knit with the purl side facing you. Now, obviously this is worked flat, so you would still be turning it around, but I just think it would be a very interesting way to do it. But I think regardless that it is just stunning. Like, it's just such a fantasy of Celtic knot patterns and motifs, and just well done. Well done, Kath Andrews. All right, that Metzbauer girl, she has been doing a whole series of socks inspired by the different states, and this is her Iowa sock that was inspired by the state fair. Iowa, if you're not in the United States, you probably don't know this, but the Iowa State Fair is kind of a famous state fair here in the United States. State fairs tend to be more agricultural events, but the Iowa State Fair is well known for its variety of fried foods on offering. And this sock is inspired by it. I think like the use of the variegated yarn on the heel, on the toe, and kind of the fun picot edge of the cuff really kind of gives that festive feeling that you would expect from a state fair. So yeah. And I think that's it for the new patterns and stuff that have come out since the last live stream, but I wanted to scroll down and stop. I might have to just get a new mouse, guys. This is causing problems for me. But I wanted to make sure that I highlighted a couple of sales and knit-alongs that are down in the new sales and affiliate happenings. So first, Adelante, I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's having a sale on all of her Critical Role crafts collection. So she has different patterns that are inspired by the video game Critical Role, and I guess I don't know anything about video games these days, but there's a big release, The Legend of Vox Machina, that has come out, and so she's doing this sale in honor of it. These are just 2 patterns that are on sale in the collection, and I just really liked these 2 patterns. That's why they're pictured here. So that sale is going on. The patterns are 38% off with the code. I'm missing the code. Oh shoot, the code is missing. I will, oh God. I did not do a good job with my fiber happenings this week. I have broken links. The code is missing. Like, what was I thinking? Also want to point out Amy Snell. She does a monthly Zoom / YouTube stream where she interviews somebody in the craft world, and her most recent one is with Austin Rivers, founder of the Knit Rainbow. And so that is actually happening today. I don't know if there's still space. You can, with what she does is she interviews someone and you can register to be on the Zoom. You're not on camera for the Zoom, but you can be kind of in the Zoom space. And then she re-airs that Zoom to YouTube. You can watch it live as well on YouTube. So if you want to check it out, I don't know if there's still room to sign up to be in the Zoom itself, but that is going on today. Or has it already gone on? It already happened. It already happened. Sorry. But it will be on YouTube. So you can watch that on YouTube after you finish here if you are not done with your knitting news and fun. And last of all, you still have 2 more days left. 2 more days left. Sarah Dawn Designs, she does a monthly knit along and sale, and this month's sale was her McCaskill scarf, which is this cabled scarf. I think it's really lovely. And there's still time to purchase this yarn at There's still time to purchase this pattern at a discount. The sale ends tomorrow, and it is 50% off. So yeah, still got time for that if you are interested. Woo! That was a lot. That was a lot for Pattern Spotlight. Sorry if it felt like I was rushing through it, but I did want to make sure I give a shout out to all the fabulous designers with their fabulous new work who are offering their work, their patterns for a sale on hopefully more accessible spaces. Hello there, welcome. Hey, very late but still wanted. Hey, I just appreciate whenever you're able to make any time for Pattern Spotlight. I hope that you are having a wonderful weekend. So yes, that, I'm just gonna put down the timestamp. Wow, an hour and 14. So that is pretty much it for this month's Knit Tea Live, because again, I'm now doing Knit Tea Live on the last Sunday of each month. So the next one will be at the end of next month, the last Sunday of February. I don't know the exact date yet. Of course, there's always the possibility that I decide to do an additional Knit Tea Live. You never know. So the best way to make sure that you keep up to date is to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that I show up in your stream, your YouTube stream. And of course, you can follow me on social media as well. I'm very active on Twitter. Go through phases with Instagram, but I am active on Instagram as well. You can find all my social media down in the description box, as well as my affiliate links if you'd like to utilize one of my affiliate links. It is always greatly appreciated because any tips, any commissions I earn do get reinvested back into the channel. And yeah, and of course you can always tip me through my Buy Me a Coffee, which now I'm on Ko-fi, not Cough, but that link is down in the description box as well. Or you can use the super thanks. Or the super, like there's options. There's options. If you'd like to help me out monetarily. It's always so awkward. It's always so awkward doing those plugs. But as always, of course, the most amazing way that you can, it's totally free that you can support my channel is just to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, comment. Commenting is great. All those good YouTube-y things. In the week ahead, I am working on the video right now that will be going up on next, probably Saturday, Friday or Saturday. It seems like I'm being able to do it more on Saturdays, and I might just commit to now uploading on Saturdays instead of Fridays. I just haven't quite committed to that yet. But my next video is actually going to be kind of a that's not quite the right, anyway, my next video is going to be about things I'd wish I'd realized or knew sooner as a knitter. So that is my next video, and then I shot a video. Oh, and my video after that in a couple of weeks is I finally sat down yesterday and shot my review of my general knitting reference books. So I finally shot that video. That video is coming in a couple of weeks. Let me see, Bear. Oh, your video about reading your own knitting helped me so much on my current project. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Bear. I'm so glad it was helpful. I really enjoyed making that video, even though truth, I had to reshoot all the overheads for the video because for some reason, when I shot the initial overhead, I got flickering, so I had to reshoot the overheads. But that video is one that I've been wanting to make for a long time, so I'm so glad people have been finding it useful, because that is something I wish I had known sooner as a knitter, was to look up above when I'm trying to figure out where my decrease row is or where the cable cross is. And it changed my life, my knitting life, when I realized, not even realized, when I learned that piece of information. It's one of those pieces of information that I think that it always amazes me that it's not better explained to new knitters how that works with knitting. Like, anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my video from last Friday, Knitting Secrets Revealed. Look up above. But yeah, and I'm planning more videos, well, at least one more video on being able to better read your knitting, kind of a top tips sort of video for that. But yeah, next week the video is going to be on things I wish I had known sooner as a knitter, and then the week after that I'm going to have my review, my epic review of my general knitting reference books. I've got 3 of them. Probably only need 1 in life, but I've got 3, and I give the rundown and my thoughts and my opinion of the 3 books. So that is coming, and that has been a long time coming. I've been talking about doing this review for a long time. Okay, I think that is it for today. Whether you are watching live on the replay, whether you started watching live and had to go and you've come back for the rest of the replay, however you watched it, thank you so much for joining me today. I really enjoyed having this chat. As always, I enjoy live streaming. I don't know if I'm good at it or not, but I enjoy doing it. Oh my god. Sorry. I have a ring light now, and I've been staring, and I think I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache from the ring light, so it's definitely time to wrap things up. Thank you, UF. I hope you have a great week as well. I did hit it. Okay, so I gotta do my wrap up now. So I'm just so disorganized now. I'm tired. But yes, again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have a great week ahead. And as always, happy health and happy making. Bye.